Are you wearing a mask in order to fit in? Are you living a life of fulfillment? Or are your goals and dreams actually the goals and dreams of the people around you? Ask yourself this question. Does it make you happy or does it make society happy? My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. Oftentimes, we're actually living the life of the people around us. We're choosing a life that we think is in alignment, but it's actually what we think other people want. This is the thing. We're not actually living our authentic self. We're living behind a mask in order to fit into the world around us. But you don't belong in that world, and that's a fact, right? We grow up, we put on a persona. I've mentioned this so many times. We put on a persona in order to fit into the world around us. We pretend to be who we think we should be. And this is the thing. You know, we're fitting into a world that isn't actually for us. Because, you know, we're born into a world, we're surrounded by people, we're put into this position, and we change ourselves in order to fit into that. So we learn behavior and we learn dreams. This is a fact. You know what I mean? Like, I've said this so many times, and I've been so triggered about this over the Christmas, because I've seen it in so many movies and in so many things that I'm watching television. Like, you know, people are doing this because they feel obligated to do it. So ask yourself that question. Are you doing the things that you're doing because you feel obligated, or do they genuinely make you happy? When I started to awaken, I started to see that often all of us really effectively are doing what everyone else does. We're doing what our friends want to do. We're doing what our parents want to do. You know, did you go to college to choose your dream? Or did you go to college to choose a career your parents wanted for you? You know, in Ireland, like back in the day, you needed to be a doctor or a priest or a farmer. You know what I mean? You had to do one of these things or you were doing it wrong. You know what I mean? If you chose a profession that was in the art industry or something, you were shunned. You were told you can't do that. You know what I mean? Or, you know, you're shamed for trying to do something that you wanted to do, and you were forced to do something that they wanted you to do. Your parents wanted you to. Ask yourself this as well. Are you doing it to keep up with the Joneses? Are you worried if you don't do a certain thing, you know, your friends won't agree, or your family won't agree, or the neighbours won't agree? Do you know what I mean? This was such a big thing in Ireland as well. It's like, what are the neighbours going to think? Who gives the fucking shit? Like, do you know what I mean? This is what happens, right? And I've mentioned this before. There's no such thing as a midlife crisis. It's a midlife of fucking awakening to the truth within your soul. Because I've said this before. You go to school, you conform. You go to college, you conform. You do a career that's out of alignment with your soul because your parents want you to do it. Then you marry the fucking farmer down the road, build a house beside your mother, and have 2.5 children, and that's happy ever after. But you get to the age of 40 and you resent every part of it because it wasn't your fucking choice. And I've seen this with so many people getting married really young, then cheating or divorcing in their late 20s because it wasn't fucking right. They were settling for something their parents wanted. Settling for something, and this is another thing, get married before you're 30, build a house before you're 30, do it this way. Like, we're literally doing what we're told to do. You don't even know yourself before you're 30. And this is so important. Do you even know who you are? Or are you living a life behind a mask? Who are you truly? Because well, for me personally, I was always eccentric. I was always weird. I was always different. I was always outside the box. So, you know, but there was times when I became conditioned. So when I was in my narcissistic relationship, I followed his, you know, I changed into what he wanted me to change into. Do you know what I mean? So I lost all goals and dreams. I lost all ambitions. He was 17 years older than me, an alcoholic, right? So my dream, I remember standing outside the pub, smoking a fag one day, going, my goal in life is to be in this pub every weekend. That was it. This is effectively it. If you're in a tiny little fishbowl, this is why I keep saying to people, leave the fucking village. If you're in this tiny fishbowl, right, okay, and just say, for example, you're in this fishbowl and there's a little bit of sand in the fishbowl and there's a little toy castle, do you know what I mean? And then you say to yourself, ooh, you know my dream, guess what my dream is? It's to live in that castle. And it's only, you know, it's only a small little house in this fucking little tiny fishbowl, so it's not really a castle, it just looks like a castle because it's a fucking piece of plastic. But anyway, what I'm saying is, you're in this tiny fishbowl and all you see is this one thing. And you're like, my biggest dream in the whole world is to get this one thing. It's the only thing in the fucking fishbowl. So you think this is your life goal, your life dream, because it's the only thing you fucking see. And it's because it's the thing that your parents wanted for themselves but couldn't have, so they're forcing you into it. This is another thing. Are you living the dreams of your parents that they failed to live for themselves? Are you going to aspire to do the only thing in the fucking fishbowl because it's the only thing in the fucking fishbowl? Do you know what I mean? Like, leave the fucking village. I keep saying this to people. It's a small town mindset. If you're living in your parents' house or living, at home or in your village or whatever, leave the fucking village. Do you know, all you're seeing is this thing with your blinkers on. All you see is the dreams of your parents, which is fuck all. All you're seeing is this tiny little thing in the corner of the fishbowl thinking, I can't wait to have that one day. Then you get that and then you realise you didn't fucking want it in the first place. It's bullshit. You know what I mean? We're aspiring to do the thing that's right in front of our eyes. Leave the fucking village. I keep saying this to people. Are you really choosing your life or are you choosing the only thing around you? Do you know what I mean? When I was in school, like when I realised that we had to pay for college and we didn't have money, I didn't even know about grants and stuff. My dream of going to college went out the window. Now, my dream of going to college was only a dream of going to college because everyone else went to college. Do you know what I mean? So I ended up getting a job and, learning street smarts, which is just as important as going to fucking college, if not even more important. So I learned life a different way. And I don't regret that, but I didn't think I had anything to dream. You know what I mean? Initially it was college because everyone else went to fucking college. But was that my dream? You know what I mean? Would I have been happy if I actually ended up in college? I don't fucking think so. I would have ended up in a job that I thought I wanted. You know what I mean? I wanted to do psychology back then. I wanted to be a psychiatrist. But I don't think I would have been happy conforming to the way they do things because I'm so fucking unconventional. That's why coaching suits me better than actual, by the book therapy, because I'm authentic, I'm intuitive, and I work with that unconventionality, right? So my dream back then I thought was a certain thing, but that came down, and then because I didn't think that I was capable or had the means to dream bigger, my dreams got smaller and smaller or disappeared completely. So I went into a small town mindset, and I literally thought my dream was to be in the fucking pub every weekend because my surrounding was an alcoholic fucking narcissist. Do you know what I mean? And that's all he ever did, and that's all I thought that I wanted because he effectively diminished my dreams. So because of that, my fishbowl got smaller and there was only a tiny little thing in the corner of the fishbowl, and I was like, that's my dream. Do you know what I mean? So if you're in a tiny little fucking fishbowl, a small town mindset, and you're like, this is my dream, this is my goal, I'm going to build a house beside my mother, this kind of energy. I'm sorry, this is just an Irish thing that happens, is like the farmer builds a house beside his mother. Anyway, this is the audio. It's just really fucking, it's like, you see bigger. You can jump out of the fishbowl and dive into this ocean of opportunity. You know what I mean? You can do anything that you want, but ask yourself, are you sitting on the sidelines of your own life, or are you living the life of your dreams? And that was the biggest question I started to ask myself when I awakened is, does this make me happy, or does it make society happy? Am I doing this to keep up with the Joneses, or am I doing it because it's in alignment with my soul? This is the thing, and you'll see this, you'll get the job, you'll go to college, you'll get the job, you'll get the partner, and then all of a sudden it all goes to shit because it's not for you. If your life is turbulent because you're going down a certain route, it's because it's not in alignment with your soul. And this is it, when we restrict ourselves, when we were living out of alignment, we suffer from depression, we suffer from anxiety, and our life is turbulent. It's fucked up, man. I was so unaware of being out of alignment. I was so unaware that I was doing things wrong, right? So I actually believed life was fucking miserable. I believed life was shit. I believed everything went wrong. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. That was my mindset, and that's the way life was for me because that was my vision. And I look back now and all the obstacles that I went through, all the pain I suffered, all the trauma I went through, and all the times my soul was screaming at me to get the fuck out. And what did I do? I drank it away. I ignored it. I continued down that wrong path. And everything had to go completely to shit for me to get my shit together. And it took me a long time to realize that I was living completely out of alignment. You know what I mean? We have to start listening to our soul's call. Ask yourself, what do you fucking want? And I don't know, you're going to be sick of me saying this notebook scene. What do you want? Not what he wants, not what your parents want. What the fuck do you want? Okay, obviously he doesn't curse, but you know what I mean? What do you want? Are you doing life because everyone else is walking off that cliff and you're deciding, I'm going to go that way? Oh, it's so fucking boring, but it's not even, actually it's not boring, because that life is turbulent. You're never going to have a dull moment on the wrong path, because it's going to be fucking obstacle after obstacle, pain after pain after pain. It's never going to be a quiet life. It's never going to be a peaceful life. When you're in alignment, life is peaceful. When you're in alignment, stuff, like, you manifest instantly. You're at peace. I said that already. You're at peace. You're at tranquility. You just... Life flows for you when you're living in alignment. You know what I mean? Like, ask yourself, this is a really good time of year to ask yourself this question. Are you in exactly the same place you were last year? Doing exactly the same thing? Not transforming, not evolving, but just repeating. Because if you're repeating over and over again, that's a sure sign you're out of alignment. And like, I remember, you know, I think one of the hardest things for me hearing that was like when I was watching Dean and Tony, Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins, when I was in my relapse energy, and you know, I didn't have any direction. I didn't know where I was going, and then I realized coaching was for me. And I remember them saying to me, what are you going to do in 6 months' time? When you look back at this video in 6 months' time and how you felt, I was crying the whole way through it. Because I'd lost everything, do you know what I mean? I had to start all over again. And I was like, I cannot do this again. I cannot look back in 6 months' time in this energy. I'm in bits here. My life has gone to shit effectively. And I can't look back in 6 months' time and not have moved. So I made it my purpose, my passion, my goal to change my life and to change my direction. And now I can look back on the past year and see how much I've changed. The last 2 years, but like especially the last year. You know, just do it small. Even 6 months ago, you know, where I was at, what I was doing. Have I changed? How have I transformed? Have I succeeded in other ways? And I have. I'm looking back at, like, 2025 was hard. It was fucking hard, but we actually, any of us that are on purpose path can look back on 2025 and say, yes, it was fucked up. Yes, we had a lot of healing to do, but my God, I'm more confident, I'm more evolved, and I have more achievements and more successes. Do you know what I mean? I can look back with pride and say, I'm not in the same position that I was in last year. And ask yourself that question. Are you in the same position that you were in last year? Or are you literally on repeat? That's another thing I remember and look back on, you know, when I was out of alignment, is that everything was repeating. And like, I didn't understand patterns or anything, but what I mean is, like, I could sit there and say, this is the same shit, different fucking day. I could, you know, and nothing, and it was like, it's like that hamster wheel. You're going around in this cycle over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you don't even realize you're doing it. But this is why it's so important to start to ask yourself that question. Is this making you happy? Are you making these life choices for you or your parents? For you or your friends? Are you doing it because it's what you've always done? Like that fucking Einstein quote, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. It really is. If you keep doing the same shit every day, you're never going to leave the fishbowl. You're going to aspire to do the things that everyone around you wants to do. Your dreams, guaranteed, your dreams are the same as your friend's dream, which is sweet fuck all. Your dreams are the same as your parents wanted for you because they couldn't get it for themselves. Are they your fucking dreams? Is this really what you want? Do you want to stay stuck in this fishbowl, aspiring to do the same shit that everyone else does and follow them all off the cliff? Because that's effectively what you're doing. If you keep living out of alignment with your soul, if you keep trying to be something you're not in order to fit into a world that you don't belong in, you know what I mean? Are you your true self around these people? Are you your true self every day? Are you living in authenticity? Because if you can't say yes to those, then you're not living in alignment and you're not choosing the life of your dreams. So it's time to get your fucking shit together. It really is. And ask yourself that question. And it's a simple question. Does this make you happy or is it making society happy? And dive deep into that. Because when I first started asking myself that, I had to dive deep. I was like, do I want to do this? And this is why it's so important to say no to things out of alignment. Setting boundaries in your life. It's like, am I going to this family gathering because I'm obligated to do so? Am I saying yes to overtime and work because I feel obligated to do so? Am I doing everything that everyone else and my friends are doing because I feel obligated to do so? How about saying no? How about saying yes to something that is in alignment? To something that fills you with joy? Are you being filled with joy with the things you're saying yes to? Ask yourself these questions. It's so fucking important. Ask yourself, what's your energy like when you say yes when you should be saying no? When you should be saying yes to yourself and you're saying no to yourself, what the fuck does that feel like? It feels fucking shit. Do you know what I mean? So start to say yes to yourself, no to the things that you don't actually want, and really genuinely ask yourself, do you want this? Is this your life? Is this your fucking dream? Or is it the dream of someone else? You're not obligated to do anything for anyone. This is your fucking life. Yours. Leave the fucking village, man. Do you know what I mean? And I've seen it so many times. It's like, I have to stay here. I have to stay close to my parents. I have to mind them. No, you don't. You have to live your life. You have to create your future, create your family, create everything for you. This is your time, your life, and your purpose. You're not here to live somebody else's fucking purpose. You're here to live your life, your choice. So please ask yourself that. Are you genuinely fucking happy, or are you following all the sheep off the fucking cliff? Take off the mask. Be authentic and be who you're truly meant to be on this planet. And get the fuck out of the fishbowl. There's an ocean of opportunities waiting for you. Anyway, thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today, and nothing more than to help you on your path. Also, I have another channel called Aligning with Angie, where I share a guided meditation every week. The info for that is in the description box.